So you're trying to learn something new, but you don't quite know where to start. Let's take guitar for example. You've been super excited to try and learn guitar for a very long time and you finally got your hands on your first guitar. But now, you've run into a different problem. You want to learn, but everything is just so expensive. You could pay a couple $100s for a few lessons, or you might pay a monthly subscription to an app where you try to learn guitar but ultimately don't make a lot of real progress. Or you could learn everything you need to know for free. In today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all my top resources to learn anything that you could possibly want for free, or at least a very small cost. Welcome to the channel. My name is Tyler. I go by The Mengineer and I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. If you're ready to learn how you can learn anything that you want for free, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Coming in at number 1 is going to be my favorite resource of all time, and that is going to be YouTube. Chances are, if there's something that you want to learn, someone has most likely made a video on it. For example, I was trying to learn things about cooking, and one of my coworkers sent me a 40-minute YouTube video on the intricacies of using fresh garlic versus minced garlic. Here's some really common examples of things that you can learn on YouTube, as well as some channels that I personally enjoy. First off, if you're looking to get into exercise, there are plenty of channels out there that give you some really great tips. There's videos on great exercise routines for anywhere starting from beginner to advanced, as well as different types of exercises, whether you want to do yoga, bodybuilding, strength training, or even some sort of like cardio work. Some channels that I've really enjoyed related to fitness are Will Tennyson, Brownie, and Jeff Nippard. If you're a student, there's plenty of YouTube channels out there that cover course topics. For instance, Khan Academy, or even Crash Course. Personally, I love learning about financial independence, and a great channel to go over some personal finance topics would be Graham Stephan. Now, to touch on my earlier example, what if you're trying to learn an instrument such as guitar? Well, you can find that too, and some good channels for that would be Marty Music and Justin Guitar. I have personally used YouTube in order to learn a lot of the fundamentals of many of the topics that I just discussed. One of the reasons that I find it to be such an appealing thing is that you can physically see the things that whoever is making the video is talking about. So if they're going through an example, they'll commonly work it out for you. Or if they're trying to show you how to do a certain musical technique, you can see just how they're doing it. This serves as a double whammy for learning in a sense, because you're not only hearing the information, but you're visually seeing it as well. Now, what I will say to keep in mind with this is you should use multiple channels to learn things about a new topic. And personally, I find them to be most helpful for the fundamentals. Once you start getting into the more advanced topics, that's when things start to become a little bit more about the money. So I'd really use YouTube to more focus on the fundamentals of what you're trying to learn. Additionally, keep in mind that there are some people out there who are only out there to try and make the money. So take everything that you watch with a grain of salt and make sure that you cross-reference things. My second favorite resource for trying to learn anything that you could possibly want are books. Like with YouTube, if there's a topic that you're trying to learn, you can most likely find a book on it. I've used books to learn how to draw, how to cook, and also how to manage my personal finances. And the great thing about books is that they really can be written in many different styles. They can be written in a really formal style if you prefer that, or they can be written in a more conversational style or less formal, more humorous and joking. There's really a book for anyone. Now, something that you might be thinking is, well, Tyler, don't books cost money? And isn't this video supposed to be about free resources? You're right. However, there are ways to get books for free or very little money. For instance, you could go to the library and get a library card, or you could go to a used bookstore. I've gotten some pretty popular books for $2 when they normally would have been $20 at a non-used bookstore. Now keep in mind that books can be really great for learning new concepts and really diving deep into a topic, but that's really all they are, is they're good for learning. You do still need to take that information that you are learning and apply it in order to really cement it into your brain. What good is it if you just read a whole bunch of books if you never actually act on that information? I have found that it can be good to go back and review books that I've read in the past, because commonly I'll have forgotten some really key topics. And so it can be useful to review them sometimes so I can get a little bit of a refresher. So what if you don't like to read, or you really just don't have the time to sit down and crank out a bunch of pages of reading, as I know a lot of people like new parents run into? For cases like this, you can listen to audiobooks. It's really, in my opinion, not cheating. A lot of people will say that, but to me, it's not, because you're still digesting the information. But this way you can digest and learn from the author of the books, but you're just doing it while doing other things, whether that's like cleaning the dishes or on your morning drive to work. I personally have used books to learn a lot of what I've learned about personal finance, because I really like how books can break down the information. And on top of that, I can kind of make my own notes and constantly refer back to the information. And speaking of wanting to refer back to information at any time, if you found the information in this video to be helpful or informational at all, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to join me on this self-improvement journey. It really helps the channel out, and it can help spread the information to other people who need to hear it. So thank you in advance, and for now, let's continue on with the video. Now this next one, I have a little bit less experience overall using it to formally learn new things, but I think it's an exciting new possibility that a lot of people are overlooking, and that would be ChatGPT. A lot like Google, you can ask ChatGPT about almost any question and it's gonna give you an answer. But one thing to keep in mind is that this is still a developing technology. It's artificial intelligence and it is still learning. So there is the chance that you could run into false information. Just make sure that you are cross-referencing the information that it's giving you and that you don't fully 100% trust it. But I personally have used ChatGPT to help improve the tone of writing that I've done, or check for any sort of spelling or grammar mistakes. So I think it can be pretty reliable at times. Now, the best way to utilize ChatGPT for learning is to use some good prompts. For example, one of the best prompts that I've seen is explain whatever topic that you want it to explain to me like I'm 5. Please use simple language and avoid using jargon. This is a prompt that is based off of a popular learning technique called the Feynman technique. This technique is based off of the idea that you don't truly understand a topic until you can explain it to anyone in an understandable manner. Hence the prompt of explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. If you can break down the topic in such a way that you can understand it even with no previous knowledge, that's a really effective way to learn it. And ChatGPT can take some really complex information and break it down for a beginner. Now, another prompt that I have not personally used, but I have heard is actually really powerful, is create a 30-day learning plan for me to learn the fundamentals of whatever topic you want to learn. In the prompt, you should include however much time you have per day to study. That way, ChatGPT can create a little bit more of a tailored program to you. Personally, I would like to see if this is a useful prompt. Would y'all like to see a video where I try this out? If so, leave a comment down below. And what are some things that you think I should try to learn using that prompt? But the fourth great free resource to use to learn new things are podcasts. Now, why do I say this? Podcasts are great as a passive way of learning new things while you're busy doing other stuff. So whether you're doing really monotonous tasks like mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, folding the laundry, or you're just on your morning commute to work or back from work, it's a great way to put something on and kind of just listen to it, and you'll absorb the information. There are great podcasts out there for really anyone. There's tons of podcasts out there that are done by industry experts, but I will say I personally find them to be a little bit dry. So a podcast style that I like a lot is when we have a host that interviews subject matter experts. This can make the topic discussion a little bit less dry and have some humorous anecdotes involved, which just makes it a lot more fun for me to listen to. Some of my personal favorites that I enjoy listening to are Andrew Huberman. He makes great podcasts about neuroscience and how to apply it to your day-to-day life. And then I also enjoyed the Bigger Pockets Money podcast, where they talk about personal finance. And coming in at number 5 is a topic that I think is pretty often overlooked, but those are mentors. This is a great, valuable, and free resource to you that a lot of people don't think about. This can be friends, family, or even coworkers. In my opinion, if you see someone who is achieving the things that you want to achieve, and they are involved in your personal circle somehow, reach out to them and get to know them. Ask them how they are doing what they are doing. Learn from them. Ask them about their mistakes, so that way maybe you can avoid them in the future. Ask them what they wish they would have done, so you can implement that into your own work. Just to go over a quick example, when I did my first freshman year internship, I really had no concept of what money was. All I knew was that you should save it because you might need it for a rainy day or in case something happens to you. But I didn't really get the concept of what investing or personal finance was. So my boss actually took the time to explain a lot of that stuff to me, and it got me really excited for my future and getting involved in investing. Fast forward to when I was coming back to college, I had to move into a new house, and my landlord was actually a young landlord that had just recently graduated college. So he was doing exactly what I want to maybe one day do. He was invested in real estate, and he was renting out to tenants. So I got to know this individual, and we actually became pretty good friends. And he's given me a lot of really helpful advice when it comes to real estate. But on top of that, because we've become friends, he's given me some great advice in other areas of my life too. When I was graduating from college, he gave me some really helpful advice in terms of my job search and accepting the jobs that I was offered, which was really invaluable, and I couldn't have thanked him enough for that advice. Mentorship can apply to things even outside of learning new skills or advancing your career. It can also just apply to life in general. Whether you're in a stressful situation or you are just dealing with the typical things of life, maybe you've had a new kid, you can talk to someone who's been there and done that, and it helps you to realize that you're not alone in that experience. And it can also help you get through those hard hurdles because you're being given advice by someone who's done it before. If you have a positive mentor in your life, really take advantage of that and thank them for being there for you, because honestly, that's a great thing to have, and a lot of people overlook it. All right, everyone, that's gonna bring us to the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any sort of your own ideas or videos that you would like to see, please leave a comment down below. I'd like to respond to all of them. If you're interested in more of my videos where I talk about continued learning, check out this video right here where I talk about my top tips to make continued learning a lifelong habit. If you're more interested in some of my most recent stuff, check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer signing off.